Hello everyone, my name is Roya, and today I'm going to be doing the Try a Chapter book tag Unhaul edition. So what that means is basically I have a pile of books here and I'm going to read a chapter of each of them, and then I will decide which ones I want to keep. I will allow myself to keep 2 of them, and then I'm going to just, unhaul the rest of them. So, all in all, I actually have 14 books here. I split them into 2 piles of 7 books. So I will allow myself to keep 2 from each pile. And this is going to be part 1, which is the first pile. And so I already read a chapter, at least, of each of them, and decided kind of what I thought. So basically this is inspired by, first of all, I saw Little Book Owl's Try a Chapter tag Unhaul. I'll leave her link down below, her video down below. And then I also watched Sam from Thoughts on Tomes do her KonMari book Unhaul thing, where she actually went through all of her books that are on her TBR shelf and took all of them off the shelf and went through each of them and actually documented her whole process doing this. So it really made me look at my TBR shelf and kind of go, okay, like I need to be honest with myself about what books am I honestly not gonna get to. And so there were a couple reasons why I decided to do this. So first of all, I really do not think I'm going to meet my 120 book goal for 2018, because 120 books is always my Goodreads reading challenge goal, and sometimes I get there, sometimes I don't, but I always pick that number just because it is a 10 book per month average. And I know that I'm not going to get there this year. And then also the thing is too that I'm going to BEA this year, and there you go, I said it, I'm going to BEA. My husband was kind enough to actually surprise me with a Christmas present of having paid for my entry fee and my plane ticket, and so I had to register and I got approved and everything. Which is crazy, so I'm really going to BEA, and obviously I'm gonna come back with like 30 arcs, because BEA is like 3 days long. Y'all West was 1 day long, and I came back with 10 books, so I can probably assume that I'm gonna come back from BEA with like 20 to 30 books, and then I have to clear off some shelf space, obviously. I should probably just get rid of some of the books that I don't think I'm actually gonna get to. So I unhauled a bunch of books. And then I decided that what is essentially my maybe pile should be a Try a Chapter tag Unhaul, because a lot of them I wasn't willing to part with if I hadn't at least read the first chapter to kind of see if it would really pique my interest or not. And a couple of these books, I've had some of them for quite a while. I actually have had one since high school, which is painful. It's insane. I don't understand how I've had a book that long, like for over a decade, and I still have not read it. But anyway, I am going to, show you what these books are and tell you kind of what my thoughts are. This is 7 books, and I've only allowed myself to keep 2 per pile. Per pile of 7. So the first one that I tried a chapter of is the Dante Club. This is the one that I've actually had since high school. This is a crime novel type thing, basically taking place like back in the olden days. With a mystery or a thriller, they're pretty easy to rule out if they do not have a murder take place in the first chapter. So this did have a murder take place in the first chapter, or a body that was found. But really, there was nothing special about this body that was found. There's just this lady who finds this dead body of this guy, and we're not given anything really special about it. Nothing's, it honestly described the maggots in the body a lot more than it described anything else. And then it kind of just cut to people talking about normal things on a normal day for way too long before they actually got to the plot. So I decided to unhaul this. Then we get to Recipe for Treason, which is also a mystery book, and again, basically, we just see stuff happen to some people, and there's no murder there's not really a compelling mystery by the end of the first chapter, so goodbye. The Girl on the Train. The whole first chapter was just about boring things with absolutely no action. We have no background on what's going on or who anybody is, who the narrator is, nothing. So, yeah. The Mermaid in the Basement. Again, pretty boring and unmemorable, to be completely honest. I would have liked to continue with this, but I honestly don't really have the time to see if it would get better by the first half of the book or something. So whatever. Bone Shaker by Cherie Priest, I actually have the first two in this series. By the way, I think all of these books were most of these were dollar impulse purchases, so all but the Dante Club were. So I actually got the first two in this series each for $1, and so I kind of thought, oh, I should see if this series is good and everything. And then, so first of all, not only is the first chapter pretty boring and nothing happens in it, but the text is in sepia tone. It's not black and white. My freaking eyes, my eyes did not want to read the words. Like, who ever thought that was a good idea? Who was the genius behind the sepia tone text? Like, I know it's supposed to be all old-timey feeling. I understand if the map is in sepia tone or something like that, but the entire text, I don't think so. The Falconer's not. And this basically takes place in like olden day Italy or Renaissance Italy. This actually does a very good job of introducing us to the characters, several different main characters, all in one short chapter, which is really awesome, and it actually kind of piqued my interest. It's not like something that I was necessarily like, oh, I've got to keep reading, but it kept me reading a little bit more than the other ones did. I actually felt like, well, I kind of care what happens to these people, because at least I feel like I know who they are. And finally, Firebrand by Marion Zimmer Bradley. So this is a Trojan War retelling, and I love Trojan War retellings. And the first chapter actually, I read the prologue and the first chapter, so the prologue actually is pretty compelling. It's about Cassandra as an old lady kind of saying that's not what really happened. To like some dude who's saying like, oh, Achilles did this and that, and so she's saying like that's not actually how it happened. That made me want to keep reading. But then the first chapter was kind of just about nothing, and it was like really slow to set up the story. And also, since Marion Zimmer Bradley is, a lot of her books tend to be very boring, and the characters tend to fall into just the same old character archetypes, really like pretty standard for like olden day fantasy type stuff. And there wasn't really anything in the first chapter that made me feel like, oh, this is going to be new and different or anything like that. And also this book is so heavy, it weighs a ton. So all in all, I kind of just felt like I wouldn't really mind getting rid of this book after all. The truth is that I don't really feel like I have to keep any of those books. I don't feel compelled to keep any of those books, but the only one that I'm actually kind of willing to give a try is The Falconer's Knot. So I'm thinking that I'm going to try and read this, and if I don't finish it by May, when BEA is, then I will unhaul this book. But I may get to it before then, because it at least piques my interest enough. So anyway, there is a whole nother pile of 7 books that I have that I will do this video with again, like with those books instead, and I will actually allow myself to possibly keep 3 books from that pile instead of 2, because I'm only keeping 1 from this pile. So we will just kind of see. And then if I end up like really caught between a few of them, then I will try a second chapter tag or something. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what books you aren't sure you're going to get to, or if you've read any of these and what your thoughts are, or if you've ever done this tag, leave a link down below, and I will see you very soon with a new video. Bye!